So hello and welcome all the participants and the live streamers who have joined us today for this webinar from YouTube and through our webinar platform. I'm Shubham from Team Webtel, and on behalf of Webtel, I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar. We'll be beginning the session in another couple of minutes. Till that time, I would like to request all the participants to kindly turn off your videos for a better bandwidth. Thank you. Okay, so very good afternoon to all the live participants who have joined us today. Today's webinar is on a very interesting and important topic, which is the issues that all of us are facing or will be facing while filing of GSTR 9 and 9C for the financial year 18 and 19. And we'll be also discussing all the adjustment that has to be made from financial year 17-18. Before we begin up with the session, I would like to request all the participants to kindly turn off their videos for a better bandwidth and also keep commenting in the chat box or on the live chat section. We'll be taking all your queries at the end of the session. As you all must be aware that Webtel is a 2-decade-old company. We are the leading e-compliance company providing various compliance software, integrated solution for corporates, and other supporting softwares and services. For GST, Webtel is dedicated in providing an end-to-end solution, including the GST, Web GST software for filing of various returns, monthly, quarterly, annual, reconciliation, to generation of e-invoices and e-way bill, directly integration with your ERPs. So Webtel and ASP GSP provider, a one-stop solution for all your needs. Without wasting much of time, I would like to introduce our today's speakers, CA Tushar Agarwal ji, CA Pitam Goyal ji, and CA Sachin Chopra ji. All of our speakers are from Tatvam Advisors. Tatvam Advisors is one of India's premium and leading indirect tax firm. They are consultants and they have a team of more than 50 in addition to this, they have a list of elite clients, including various big corporates. They have their offices in Delhi, NCR, and welcome Tushar sir, Pitam sir, and Sachin to today's platform. And I would like to request you to begin with the webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Shubhamji. I'm just sharing my screen.
Sir, just to add on, our webinar is also live on YouTube, streaming live on YouTube. Just in case anyone is unable to hear voice or connecting audio problem, so they can switch to our YouTube channel, Webtel Electrosoft Private Limited. I'm sharing the link in the chat box. Over to you, Tusharji, Pitamji, Sachinji.
At the outset, we thank Webtel for providing this opportunity. Friends, preparation of GSTR 9 and 9C is indeed an important task which require a good amount of expertise and skills and understanding of these forms. The main reason is that all the tables in GSTR 9 and 9C are linked together. And in today's webinar, our main focus will be to see the practical case studies and practical situations which we are actually facing while doing audit of our clients, while preparing these forms, and see how to report those transactions. In the starting, we will have an overview of the tables related to outward supply in GSTR 9 and 9C. We will see what are mandatory fields, what are optional fields. Once we are on the same page, then we will go to the case studies. We will discuss different kinds of practical situations being faced. We will discuss the spillover impact of 17-18 transactions. How do I report it in 18-19? Next, we will see the tables related to the inward supplies in GSTR 999C, and then case studies related to inward supplies. In the last, we must remember that preparation of GSTR 999C and conducting audit is not only limited to reconciliations. It is also important as a professional for us to do a legal review of our client and provide them about the opportunities which they are missing and the exposure which they are having. With this in background, let us start with our first agenda of the day, overview of GSTR 99C outward supplies. GSTR 9 consists of 6 parts having 19 reporting tables. Part 1 talks about basic details. Then we have part 2, wherein we have table number 4 and 5. We should remember all those tables because in the case studies, we will be referring to all these tables again and again. Table 4-5 deals with my output turnover, both taxable and exempt. Table number 6 to 8, that is part 3. It deals with my input tax credit tables. Part 4 deals with my tax payments. Part 5 deals with my adjustment, which I have made in 1920, but pertaining to 18-19, that is table number 10 to 14. And then we have table number 15 to 19, referring to other details. Friends, it is very important that when we prepare GSTR 9, it is not that we have to go sequentially. We have to divide these tables into different buckets. The first bucket is my outward supplies. In outward supply, it is my table number 4, 5, 10, 11, which is important, read with table number 9 and 14. When I talk about inward supply, table number 6, 7, 18, 12, and 13 merits consideration. And then we have other tables. When we are focusing on output supplies, table number 4, 5, it deals with my liability, which is for 18-19, and which I have already reported in 18-19 and paid tax in 18-19 only. So 4-5 deals with those transactions, whereas 10-11 deals with those transactions which pertains to 18-19 but has been reported in 19-20. So in table number 4 and 5, my tax payable will come, and this tax payable will be auto-populated in table number 9, wherein we have 2 columns. One is tax payable, second is tax payment. So ideally, whatever is my tax liability as per table number 4 and 5, that will get auto-populated in table number 9 tax payable column, and my tax payable column should match with my tax payment column in table number 9. If there is any difference, then that should be supported by proper reasoning in 9C observation. And my 10-11 liability should match with the tax payment, which I will show in table number 14. So 4, 5, 10, 11, 9 and 14 are the relevant tables. Let's have a look at the various kinds of tables and which fields are optional and which fields are mandatory before we move on to the case studies. Table number 4 deals with the details of my output supplies pertaining to 1819 and reported in 1819. Here, all the fields are mandatory. When we talk about 4A, 4B, 4C, etc., so I have to give details differently. We have a specific table for B2C. We have a specific column for B2B supplies. Then for export, these are the exports of which I have made on payment of GST. Then we have supplies to SEZ on payment of tax. Then we have deemed exports. And then we have advance, which have not been adjusted till now. So advance received, tax paid, but invoices has not been issued till March 2019. All these fields are mandatory. And then we have inward supplies on which tax is payable under reverse charge mechanism. So that will come under this particular G column. And then we have a specific I, J, K, L. All these fields have been made mandatory. So when we talk about credit note or debit note related to the above transaction, either you can show it here or you can club it and show the net amount from A to G. You can show the net amount. Moving on, when we talk about table number 5, it deals with transaction where a tax is not payable. So we have zero rated supplies, supplies to SEZ. In all these cases, it is mandatory to fill the information. Similarly, supplies on which my recipient is liable to pay reverse charge, that is mandatory. Here, when we see D, E, F, so we have exempted column, nil rated column, non-GST supplies. So here an option has been provided that I can club all three and report everything in my exempted column only. So I need not report separately under nil rated, separately under non-GST supply. These are optional. I can report everything under 5D, and it also includes non-supply. Again, then the credit notes and debit notes relating to the above transactions, that is these transactions, these are optional, and you can include all the amount here itself after doing the netting off. So 4, 5 deals with my output liability. 10, 11 refers to the situation wherein transaction pertains to 1819 and it has been reported in 1920. So I will report in table number 10 and 11, and these are my mandatory fields. Coming to my 9C, and 9C is divided into 5 different buckets. Part 1 deals with my basic details. Part 2 deals with my turnover reconciliation. That is turnover which is coming in my GSTR 9 and the turnover as my financial books. We need to reconcile it in part 2. Part 3 deals with reconciliation of tax payment. That is tax amount which I have paid as per GSTR 9 and the tax payment which is coming as per my books, that I have to reconcile in my part 3. Similarly, part 4 deals with my input reconciliation. That is input which is coming as per my GSTR 9 and input as per my books. I need to reconcile in part 4, and part 5 deals with auditor recommendations. So when we talk about 9C, so if we see main table, A column, it talks about turnover as per audited financial statements for the state. And if we have GSTN wise, we have multiple GSTN, then I have to drill down and write the turnover of that particular state as per the financial books of account. This 5A, that is my financial turnover, I need to match it with my GST turnover. And where my GST turnover is coming? My GST turnover is coming here in 5Q. That is turnover as declared in annual return. So I have a turnover as per books, I have turnover as per returns. And these are the various reasons which I have to provide for the reconciliation between my books and the returns. And all these reasons, they have made it optional that you need not bifurcate all these reasons, and you can put directly under FIFO as consolidated details under FIFO. In any case, it is always advisable that whenever you're doing reconciliation between financial books of account and between financial books of account and GST annual return, that is turnover given in the GST returns, it is advisable to show maximum details which is possible. And even if you are showing every amount under FIFO, you should have a proper backup about the reconciliations and the reasons for difference. All backup should be available, because at ground level, when you are handling departmental audit, they ask for each and every reason for the difference between the annual turnover and the financial books of account turnover. Primarily, there can be 4 situations. If we can divide all these discussion into 4 buckets, that reconciliation of financial turnover with GST turnover, there can be 4 sets. First is there can be a set of transactions which are coming in my books in revenue side and which is also coming in my GST returns. So there will be no need of reconciliation. Say 100 rupees reported in books, 100 rupees reported in GST return. So 100 matched, no reconciliation required. But still, there can be dispute area with regard to the tax liability. Maybe turnover may be 100, but you have paid tax at 5%, whereas the rate of tax should have been 18%. There can be a reason where there is no reconciliation difference, but there is a tax liability difference. So reconciliation will come only if one entry is there in books, but not in return, or it is there in return, not in books. Say, talk about Ind AS adjustment. When you talk about Ind AS adjustment, you will find an entry in your books of account, whereas it will not be there in your GST returns. So this is a reason of difference. You have to write that it is in my books of account. It's only an accounting entry, not in return. Next, say stock transfer between branches. So stock transfer, deemed supplies, these will be there in your GST returns because it's a deemed supply as per the law. Whereas it will not mention in books. It will not be there in the books because all these are netted off while making the financial statements. So this is one of the reason for reconciliation. So either your entry is in books, not in return, or in return, not in books. Where it is present in both the situation, reconciliation will not come into picture. There can be another case where it is not present in the books as well as return. Say you have missed a transaction. Then you are supplying, say, a corporate guarantee to related party, which is taxable. So that corporate guarantee to related party without consideration, it's a taxable transaction. It is not coming in GST returns because you have not paid tax. It is also not coming in books of account because you have there is no consideration involved. So there can be a transaction which is not forming part of your reconciliation, but still there can be an exposure. So logically, when we see the press release issued by the Government of India, CBIC, they have clarified that the auditor's role is limited to the reconciliations. In any case, it is always better as a professional that we go beyond the reconciliation and also look into those transactions which are not there in the reconciliation, like which are coming in both books and returns or which are neither coming in books and returns, and drill down the exposures and the opportunities available with the client.
Tusharji,
Yes.
so a few of our
Hello.
Tushar, a few of the participants are telling to go a little slow.
Okay.
That is the reason he was telling you.
Okay. Right. So we will study all these with details in case studies wise. So I was just giving a overview and we will discuss everything in detail. The next is the reconciliation of taxable turnover. So my table number 7, it deals with reconciliation of taxable turnover. So 5 and 7 are the tables which are relevant under 9C. And then we have table number 9, that is reconciliation of tax paid. So reconciliation of tax paid, it consists of a table wherein I have to determine my liability rate wise. If you see 9A, 5%, I have to determine my liability as per books rate wise, that this is my liability. And if you see 9Q, that is total amount pays as returns in annual turnover return, that is GSTR 9. So I have to reconcile books versus annual return. The tax payment reconciliation is under table number 9. We will discuss all these with case studies in detail in future slides. So this was a very overview of the GSTR 9 and 9C. And with this, we will start our case studies. Our first case study is to understand how do I report the transaction in GSTR 9, whether I have to report it from my books, whether I have to report it from my GSTR 1, whether I have to report it from my GSTR 3B. So when we talked about our output tables 4, 5, 10, 11, we discussed that these are the output tables. So the first question which arises, how do I report the transactions here in table number 9 and 9C? Which will be the source of data? That is GSTR 1 or books or 3B. For this, we will take 2 case studies and our colleague Sachin will take these 2 case studies to understand this.
Hi everyone, good afternoon to all of you. Now, as the figures are visible on the screen, let's start with the first case study. In GSTR 1, we have reported a turnover of 100 rupees. In books, which is showing the correct figure, the turnover is 120 rupees. And in GSTR 3B, we have paid taxes on 80 rupees. So let's understand how it will impact our GSTR 9. Now in table number 4, in GSTR 9, we have to show outward supply on which was happened during the year. So we will show 120 rupees because the correct turnover is 120 rupees. In table 9, in which we show whatever taxes we have paid. Now we have paid taxes on 80 rupees. So we'll be showing the taxes which we have paid on 80 rupees. So there will be a difference of 40 rupees because table 4 is showing 120 rupees and table 9 would be showing 80 rupees as per GSTR 3B. So now how to resolve this difference of 40 rupees? What we have to do is to pay tax on the remaining 40 rupees through DRC 03 as we have paid less.
So in this case study, what is happening is that my books liability is more, that is rupees 120, whereas I have short paid the tax, that is I have paid only rupees 80 in 3B, whereas I have not rectified this is 1920. I have not rectified this transaction in 1920. You have identified that turnover as per 3B is 80 rupees, turnover as per books is 120 rupees. So show in table number 4 entire 120 rupees. Your tax payable will auto-populate in table number 9 as per 120 rupees, whereas tax payment, that is we have a tax payment column under table number 9. There we will have only rupees 80, which will be auto-populated directly from 3B. So this 40 different is something which you have to pay from DRC 03.
Okay.
Moving on to the next case study. Yes, Sachin.
Now moving on to our next case study. It is similar to case study first, but the difference here is in GSTR 3B we have shown 80 rupees and in books the correct figure is 100 rupees. So the rest 20 has been reported in 3B of 1920. So at the time of filing GSTR 9, what is happening here? We have already made payment of rupees 20. So here there is no question of paying again. Now in table number 4, the turnover would be 100 rupees, and in table number 9, 80 rupees will come. Now what we have to do, we have to reduce this amount of table 4 with 20 rupees and show that 20 rupees in table number 10, which shows the figure of 1819, which we have reported in 1920.
In this case study, what actually happened? Books figure was 100 rupees. In 3B, you reported 80 rupees in 1819, and in 1920, you reported 20 rupees. Since you have already rectified in 1920, and your figures are matching cumulatively with books, when we see 1819 and 1920 together, then you have to report everything through 3B. Now, in this example, report table number 4, 80 rupees. In table number 9, your tax payable will be 80 rupees and your tax payment will also be 80 rupees. So your table number 4 and 9 will match. Similarly, in table number 10, since you have reported 20 rupees in 1920, in table number 10, please report 20 rupees. And in table number 14, again 20 rupees will come. So your table number 10 and 14 will match. Similarly, your table number 4 and 9 will match. So when we see case study 1 and 2, the conclusion is, if there is a difference between books and returns, and you have rectified this difference in 1920 returns, you have made these adjustments in 1923 Bs, then you have to fill the data as per 3B. Fill the data as per 3B. In table number 4, fill as per 3B turnover. 9, fill as per 3B turnover. Similarly, in 10 and 11, you will fill as per what you have filled in 3B of 19 and 20. However, where you have not rectified in 1920, where the details have not been rectified in 1920, and there is still a difference today also, then in table number 4, report the actual turnover. That is as per books. In 9, table number 9, there will be less payment which will be coming, and the differential will be paid through DRC 03.
So now coming to the third case study, what will happen for the transaction pertaining to 1718? So 1819 being the second year of audit under GST regime, we have discussed about the transactions pertaining to 1819, which has been reported in financial year 1920. Being the second year of audit, there might also be some transactions which were reported or which were recorded for the financial year 1718, but were reported in financial year 18 and 19. So if we talk about this case, that as per books, my correct figure of turnover is rupees 100. If in the what happens in financial year 1718, I give you an example. In 1718, total turnover as per books was 100, and 80 was the amount which I showed in GSTR 3B, and balance 20 I reported in financial year 1819. So while doing the audit for financial year 1718, as we discussed earlier, in table number 4 of 9 of in for financial year 1718, I would have shown a tax of rupees 80, And in table number 10 of financial year 17-18, I would have shown a tax of rupees 20, which have been paid in financial year 18 and 19. Now, while doing the audit for 18 and 19, this 20 rupees difference would come into my picture. Why? Suppose I take a simple case, 18-19, my total turnover is 100 rupees. And in 3B also, I have reported 100 rupees. Because of this 3B, I have reported 100 rupees pertaining to 18-19. But actually what I have paid in 3B is 100 pertaining to 18-19 and 20 rupees pertaining to 17-18. So while doing the reconciliation under GSTR 9, what will I need to show in table number 4? Table number 4 of 9C. 9 is something which we need to look for. So there are two alternatives for showing this transaction of rupees 20 for the financial year 17-18, which I have shown in 18-19. First option is I show that turnover in table number 4 of 9. So what I do is that I report in table number 4 120 rupees, 100 rupees pertaining to 18-19 and 20 rupees pertaining to financial year 17-18. So when I come to table number 9 of form GSTR 9, tax paid would be 120 and tax payable combining 4 and 5 would also be 120. So in GSTR 9, there would be no difference. But actually, when I come to 9C, under 9C, the total turnover would be 100 rupees only, whereas the turnover coming from 9 would be 120 rupees. So there would be a difference of rupees 20 over which I have paid the taxes pertaining to 17-18 and 18-19, but has not been part of my financial statements, because these 20 rupees formed part of financial statements for financial year 17-18. So while framing 9C, what I have to do is that I have to put that as my remarks or the observation that the difference is due to turnover pertaining to 17 and 18, which has been reported in financial year 18 and 19, and has this difference is arising because of the reporting difference. If I talk about the other case, so there are two ways of reporting. First, we will understand both the cases and then we will discuss. So first case is I showed in table number 4 and 9, and 20 rupees difference arises in table number in form 9C. Second way of representing the same is that in table number 4 of 9, I show the actual amount of turnover as per books and actual amount paid in GSTR 3B pertaining to financial year 18 and 19. So I will report in table number 4 100 rupees, but while matching table number 9, tax payable would be 100, tax paid would be 120. So there would be a difference of 20 rupees in GSTR 9. So that difference pertains to tax paid for 17-18 and 18-19. But while coming to GSTR 9C, the total turnover from 9 would be rupees 100. And as per my financial statements, turnover would also be 100. So in second case, there would be no difference under GSTR 9C, but difference would arise of 20 rupees in 9. So under both the option, what our objective is that whether we go for option 1 or option 2, there would be a difference of rupees 20 arising, whether in 9 or 9C. So being an auditor, we should appropriately capture our observation that what methodology of depicting a particular transaction pertaining to 17-18 we have taken, so that it becomes clear whether 9 we have captured the difference or 9C is the table in which we have captured the difference. Tushar?
Yes, it is very important that we actually capture the reason. We may follow any of the option, but it is important to capture the remarks.
So now coming to the opposite case. Suppose in financial year 17 and 18, the actual turnovers as per financial was rupees 100, whereas I paid tax in GSTR 3B on 120. I paid tax of 120 rupees. In earlier case study, I paid a tax of 80 rupees only. So there was a short payment of 20. But in this case, the tax payable under financials was 100 and I paid tax on 120 rupees. So there was excess tax paid of rupees 20, which was reported as a negative figure in table number 11 while doing the audit for 17-18. It is important to note that we have not applied refund of this excess tax paid. When it is a case where we have shown this as an adjustment made in financial year 18-19 pertaining to financial year 17-18 figures. So this 20 rupees will be identically vice versa. It will be reversed. Wherever 20 rupees was extra paid under 9 would be becoming 20 rupees short paid under 9. And when coming to 9C, whatever excess revenue was popping up from GSTR 9 would be short revenue. In 9, earlier case, 120 was a turnover popping up. But in this case, turnover would be popped up as 80 rupees. So there will be a difference of 20 rupees in 9C. So it will be an identical replica with a minus figure, 20 rupees positive here, minus 20 rupees. So it will be identical replica. The methodology would remain same. Whether we want to go for approach 1, we show the difference in 9, or whether we want to go for option 2, whether we want to show the difference in 9C. So it is up to you how to show the difference. But remarks is something which we need to capture proper.
So to conclude, when we talk about spillover transactions, we have two options. First, we show in table number 4 in GSTR 9 the way it is there in 3B. In this situation, my 4 and 9 will match, but my difference will come in 9C because my financial turnover will not match with my GST turnover. Provide an explanation in 9C. Second option is I show the actual figure in table number 4. That is my actual transaction, actual turnover of 18-19. In this situation, my table number 4 and 9 will not match because 9, the tax payment will be as per 3B. There will be a difference in GSTR 9. Give an explanation in 9C observation. In 9C remarks, just give an explanation. This is the reason for difference. We can follow either of the method, but giving proper remarks is very important. Now, generally face is that when we do audit, we come across situation wherein tax has been paid as CGST, SGST, but it was supposed to be IGST. So let us see how to deal in such situations. Yes, Sachin.
Okay, in this case study, what is happening here is that we have wrongly paid CGST and SGST during the year 18-19, but the correct amount was IGST. So let's see how it will impact our GSTR 9. In table number 4, CGST and IGST will become payable, and in table number 9, as we have paid CGST and SGST during the year, CGST and SGST will appear. So there will be a difference. IGST will become payable in form 9, and CGST and SGST will appear to be excess payment. So what we have to do, we have to make the payment of IGST through DRC 03. And for excess paid amount of CGST and SGST, we can claim refund. Now let's suppose this amount belongs to April 18. CGST and SGST amount belongs to April 18, and the time limit for taking refund is 2 years. Now what will happen? The due date for this refund would be till April 20. Now, due to this COVID-19 situation, all the due dates falling in April 20 has been extended till September 30th. So we can claim this amount. In fact, all the amount, if any amount has been wrongly paid in 18-19, we can claim this refund during this year till 30th September.
So this is very important to note that in all such situations, the time limit of refund has not lapsed. You need to pay IGST, claim refund of CGST and SGST. Also, it is important to note that since these transactions are covered under section 77 of the CGST Act and 19 of the IGST Act, there is no interest liability in such situations. We can argue that interest will not be payable. Now, moving on to the next case study related to exempted supplies. Now, we have seen in table number 5 for GSTR 9, we have a specific column for exempted supply. We can report exempted supply, non-taxable supply, no supply, nil rated supply, everything under the bucket of exempted supply. Generally, what we have seen is that while filing returns, that is GSTR 3B and 1, people often miss reporting these transactions under the exempt category. Now it is the right time to rectify and report under GSTR 9. So in GSTR 9, there can be simple situations which we can find in almost various clients, like interest income. Interest income as per GST law is an exempted service and we need to report under exempted turnover. Similarly, we may have sale of electricity, we may have renting of residential dwellings, trading of securities. These are some of the examples pertaining to exempt supply, which we need to report. But reporting of exempt supply under GSTR 9 is one category. Another important point to be noted is as soon as you report something as exempt supply under GSTR 9, department can always come and ask and seek reversal of credit attributable to exempt supplies. That is under Rule 4243. I need to reverse my credit to the extent it is attributable to exempt supplies. So there can be certain situations where there is an activity which you amounts to exempt supply, but still reversal is not required. For example, interest income. Interest income to report under GSTR 9, no issues, but no reversal required for interest income because as per the explanation to credit rules, reversal is not required in respect of interest income. Similarly, when we talk about dividend income, to my mind, dividend is not a supply itself. Since dividend is not a supply itself, no reversal is required. So even though you are reporting interest income under exempt supply, dividend under exempt supply, so as it matches with your financial turnover, you need to report all these things in table number 5 for GSTR 9, but no reversal is required. However, when we talk about other examples like sale of electricity, if you are selling supply in electricity or rental of residential dwelling or any exempt product which you are supplying, you need to report it under table number 5 and simultaneously please make sure that your reversals, common credit reversal calculation, the backup which you have in your accounts, that in that backup, the exempt turnover should match with the turnover which is there in GSTR 9. Practically the way which we are doing departmental audits, we have seen that whatever report amount which we are reporting in GSTR 9 under the exempt turnover, department is actually scrutinizing it and checking it with my 4243 reversal amount. So that is something which I should be very cautious. Now with this, let us move to the next case study.
So coming to the next case study, the facts of the case is like that. The actual figures coming in the books is 100 rupees. So total turnovers as per books is 100. But I have paid in GSTR 3B an excess tax of rupees 120. So books figure is 100 and I have paid tax of 120. And GSTR 1, I have shown a turnover of 100 only. So actual figures is 100, correct figures is 100. So one side is I have paid tax on 120, actual taxable tax was 100 rupees. And the difference of 20 rupees, I have not adjusted till date. I have not made the adjustment for these transactions pertaining to 1819 in 1920 till date. So now while dealing in such a situation, what we have to do? Whenever we file 9 on under this situation, we have to show the correct figures in table number 4. So correct figure would be 100 rupees. While coming to table number 9 of GSTR 9, total tax would be 100 rupees. That is, tax payable would be 100, but tax paid, which would be auto-populated from 3B filed, would be 120. So in table number 9 of form GSTR 9, there would be an excess tax paid of rupees 20. So while coming across such a situation, what we have seen generally is that consultants are not willing to report this as a refund or as an excess tax payment. But in our opinion, it should be interpreted as an excess tax paid of rupees 20. And as far as our experience is concerned, experience is that this refund of 20 is also eligible and department grants such type of refunds in case there is an actual case that there has been an excess tax paid by an SSC which is over and above the correct picture. But it is very important to note for a consultant that while framing 9 and 9C, this refund of 20 rupees gets captured, and also he remarks over the same that this amount is actually the amount on which the tax has been paid extra, and this is eligible for refund, which is very much eminent or depicted from table number 9 of form 9C. So now coming to the last case study for outward supply, it is also very common. It might be a situation for financial year 18-19 that an assessee by mistake has disclosed a B2B supply under B2C column of 100 rupees. So 100 rupees I would have to supply under B2B column, but while filing 3B, it was reported under B2C. And while filing GSTR 1 also, it was reported under B2C column. Now, while when the vendor, when the party told me that his credit is not showing in financial year 19-20, assessee made a correction by transferring an equal amount of his outward liability from B2C to B2B, and by amending that particular invoice from B2C to B2B. So facts is such a case that 18-19 B2B was reported as B2C in 3B, and which was corrected in financial year 19-20. What we have to do while conducting GST audit or while reconciling the turnover under form table number 4 of GSTR form 9. So here we should not show the actual picture which we have shown in 3B, whereas we should show the correct picture. What is correct? That there was 100 rupees pertain to B2B. So while doing audit and while reconciling the turnover under table number 4 of form 9, what I have to do is that I have to show a turnover of rupees 100 under B2B column, not B2C. So that is this.
Moving to our next case study. So there can be a situation where a transaction is neither captured in my returns, not captured in my books. That is, I have not captured the transaction in my GST returns as well as books. Let's take few examples. We all are aware that under GST law, there is a concept wherein there are certain kinds of supplies which I make even without consideration that is taxable. So under GST law, supplies of goods and services between related party and between distinct person is taxable even if it is without consideration. So when we do GST audit of 18-19, we will come across such situations where we will find such kinds of transaction. For example, somebody has provided, a holding company has provided corporate guarantee to the subsidiary company, and this is without consideration. Under GST law, provisioning of corporate guarantee to subsidiary company is taxable even if it is without GST law. Similarly, support services provided by head office to my plant. I am an entity. My head office is in Gurgaon, and I have my manufacturing locations in various states, say Gujarat, Maharashtra, etc. What is my head office doing? Head office being a separate person registered under GST for the purpose of GST law. This head office having a separate GST. All these are treated as distinct person. And my head office is providing support services to my plant. So all these support services, what we know generally called cross charge as a layman, all these transactions are taxable. Now, if you identify such kinds of transaction like usage of corporate trademark, corporate guarantee, cross charge, etc., you identify a transaction that your taxpayer has not paid tax on such transaction. In this situation, we have two ways of reporting the transaction. My first way of reporting the transaction will be that I will report this amount in table number 4 of GSTR 9, wherein I will show it as my turnover. So I will report this amount in table number 4 of GSTR 9. If I report this transaction in table number 4 of GSTR 9, in table number 9, my tax payment, which is auto-populated from 3B, will be less. So my table 4 turnover will be 100. Table 9 tax payment will be 0. There will be a gap. and this gap I need to make payment through DRC03. This is first approach. Second approach is I don't do anything in GSTR 9. Let GSTR 9 be filed the way it is there. So I don't report this 100 rupees in table number 4. Accordingly, there will be no gap in GSTR 9, whereas I report this 100 rupees in my auditor's liability directly under 9C. In 9C, we have a specific table to record and report auditor's liability. There I can go and report this 100 rupees. So I can follow any of the option available to me. Now with this, now let us start and have a look at the forms related to and the tables related to inward supply.
So as we discussed earlier, while framing the inward supplies, what tables are relevant? Table number 6, table number 7, table number 8, and table number 12 and 13 are relevant for GSTR 9 for the purpose of inward supplies. So what we will discuss is again what are the optional fields and what are the mandatory fields and how we have to show the values. So when we come to table number 6, 6A is a table which is an auto-populated figure which will be a summation from all the GSTR 3B filed from table number 4A of GSTR 3B. So in total, it will be the total ITC availed during the financial year 18-19. What we need to show in 6B. 6B specifically asked for bifurcation of the above ITC into 3 parts: input, capital goods, and input service. But recently, the assessees, the registered person, have an option of showing the entire amount under the head inputs only, instead of bifurcating the same into capital goods, input service, and input. So this is much relief in form. I can show whole amount of ITC not through a bifurcations in a single line item in the head ITC input side. Coming to table number 6C. So 6C and D. What was the difference between 6C and 6D? Under 6C, I was supposed to put in the ITC which I have availed after paying in relation to inward supplies from unregistered persons which were liable to be reversed, to be taxed under reverse charge mechanism. And 6D was the inward supplies received from registered person. So C and D difference was 6C pertains in relation to unregistered person, 6D pertains in relation to registered person. So it was very difficult to map what all taxes I have paid under RCM from registered persons and unregistered person. So keeping in mind this, table number 6C is an optional field and 6D is a mandatory field. So what we have to do is that total RCM which I have paid, whether from registered person or unregistered person, I can club together and show under table number 6D itself. 6E, we need to show the ITC availed in respect of goods imported into India. F is in relation to import of service. What is the tax I have paid and I've claimed it back. 6G is ITC received from ISD. So 6D, E, F, G, these are mandatory fields. We need to split the ITC in these items. 6H is the ITC which I have reclaimed back. This is also a mandatory field which I have to show. So 6I is the ITC, total ITC of 6B till 6H, which means the bifurcation of ITC which I have provided into different buckets. 6I is a summation of all those buckets. 6J is the difference of the ITC which I have claimed, availed in GSTR 3B and which I have bifurcated upon. 6K and L are in relation to trans 1. Any amount of trans 1 credit which I have availed, it's a mandatory field which I need to put in. 6M is in relation to any other ITC which has not been depicted or bifurcated above. That may be in relation to composition dealer, transfer of a composition dealer, transfer of a unit from one unit, merger case. It may be a merger case. So any other ITC which is not bifurcated above is need to be depicted in table number 6M. 6N is subtotal from 6J to M, and O is total ITC available. Total ITC availed, that is I plus N. This is the gist of 6. 6 is basically the bifurcation of total ITC into various buckets. So now coming to table number 7 of form GSTR 9, it relates to ITC reverse, which I have reversed, and the ineligible credits. 7A is in respect of rule 37. It's a specific rule for ITC which I have not made the payment. So this being an optional field. What we can do, 7A is an optional field. Now coming to 7B. 7B is rule 39, which is ITC distributed, reversal of ITC distributed in relation to ISD. This again is an optional field. When we talk about ITC reversal in relation to exempt service, which we discussed earlier while doing the outward supply, is to be shown under 6C. 6D is in relation to capital goods, reversal of ITC in relation to capital goods. And 6E is in relation to ineligible credits. Ineligible credits which does not form part of table number 4A or table number 6A above, which I have shown and reversed is something has to be shown in 6E. 6F and G is reversal of trans 1 and trans 2 credits. Now, when I come to 6H, 6F, G and H is very important. 6F and G are mandatory fields, whereas 6A to 6E, bifurcation of ITC reversal in respect of rule 37, 39, 42, 43, 17, 5. These, if you see, are the optional fields. So what we can do is that we can club together total ITC, which I have reversed, and I can show all the ITC reversed under column 6H itself with a proper backup to substantiate these reversals. So 6I is the total ITC reverse coming from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and J is 6O, which we studied, which we saw earlier, total ITC available or availed minus reverse. So 7J is the net ITC available for utilization, and this will form part of 9C while doing reconciliations under 9C vis-a-vis our ITC available as per financials. So this will form part and this will be matched from there. So now coming to table number 8, this again is very tedious job, but when we go to table number 8, in table number 8 there are 3 subsets. First subset is the auto-populated figure. Second subset is the Excel working provided by the GSTN network. So when we talk about the Excel file, it is sometimes available and sometimes it is not available. Third subset is GSTR 2A. 2A is the monthly 2A which I can download from my, after logging into the systems, GSTN system. So 3 things, GSTR 2A, Excel, and 8A auto-populated figures is something which I need to map and have a reconciliations. So, and difference which we need to show under 8D. What a registered person have, they have also have an option to have 8A, 8B, 8C, 8D in a PDF format, have a working in a PDF format, they sign it and they upload it for the purpose of compliance under section table number 8A. Now the second, yeah. Next slide, please. So now coming back to the so these table number 6, 7, and 8 pertains to ITC availed during the current financial year. Now table number 12 and table number 13, these are in relation to ITC availed and ITC reversed for financial year 18-19 in financial year 19-20. So these also are the optional fields, but in case we have the data, we can punch in these figures for transaction pertaining to 18-19, but declared in the returns of 19 and 20 up till September. Now this forms part of 9. So now while coming to the 9C, 9C, there are two tables, table number 12 and table number 14. So while coming to table number 12, table number 12 first part, that is A part, 12A, it is the ITC availed as per the audited financial statement. It means the ITC available as per my SAP ledger, as per my tele ledger, total ITC which was recorded in my books of accounts. So this is again a mandatory field. Coming to 18-19, there might be a scenario, whatever is there in my books, I have availed that next year in my 3B or reverse next year in my 3B. There might also be a circumstance for 17-18 amount I have claimed in 18-19 in 3B. So I have to give a proper walkthrough or a deduction or addition in table number 12B and C to match with the total ITC availed as per books of accounts with the ITC claimed in GSTR 9, which we show earlier. So any unreconciled ITC is something which we need to put it as a remark. In ideal scenario, table number 12D and 12E should auto-populate. Now, this table number 14 is it was most difficult part for being an auditor to map the ITC vis-a-vis expense. And I am extremely sure that all of us would be having challenges in relation to same. So for 18-19, we still have an option not to file this table, and I would advise not to file this table. Let us keep this as blank table. So now for this, now we will study the case studies in relation to inward supplies.
Okay, now starting with the first case study of inward supply. In this case study, in financial year 18-19, ITC taken in monthly returns is 100 rupees and the correct ITC in books is 90. So it is clearly evident we have taken excess ITC of 10 rupees. Now let's see how it will impact our GSTR 9. Now let's first understand, now in table 6A gets auto-populated from GSTR 3B. Whatever we have shown during the year in GSTR 3B, it will auto-populate in table 6A. And in table 6B, the amount of ITC which is correctly taken, which is correct, that is in books of 90 rupees, it will show that amount in table 6B. So there will be a difference of 10 rupees. And now we have taken excess credit of 10 rupees. Now we have to reverse it. We have to pay for that through DRC 03.
So in this case study, it is important to note that you have taken excess credit in 18-19, 100 rupees, whereas actual credit was 90 rupees. So since 6A is auto-populated through 3B, 6A will come 100, and in 6B, you have to show your actual credit, that is 90 rupees. So in table number 6, 6A will be 100, 6B will be 90, and there will be a difference of 10 rupees. And this 10 rupees is something which you need to pay through DRC 03. In this case study itself, there can be another situation. There can be a situation that you have reversed this credit in 1920. There can be a situation where this excess amount, whatever you have availed in 18-19, you have reversed in 1920. In this case situation, again, in table number 6A, show it will come 100 only. In 6B, show rupees 90 only, and a difference of 10 rupees will come. But you need not pay through DRC 03 because you have already reversed in 1920. So in table number 12 and 13, write this rupees 10 amount there. Write that 20 rupees is an amount which you have reversed in 1920, and just put a remark in 9C that 10 rupees was an ITC excess claimed in 18-19, which was reversed subsequently in 1920, and which is also shown in table number 20 and 3. So the conclusion is, if ITC has already been reversed in 1920, then just report in 1230 and put a remark in 9C. If it has not been reversed, it is yet to be reversed. So pay this difference of 10 rupees through DRC 03. Now let us understand how to report figures of 17-18 with the credit pertaining to 17-18, which I had availed in 18-19. So the credit which pertains to 17-18, which I have availed in 18-19, how to report these transactions in my GSTR 9 and 9C. Yes, Sachin.
Okay, now in this case study, what has happened is like in in year 1718, ITC as per books was 100 rupees, and in returns in GSTR 3B, we have claimed nothing. And what we had done, we have claimed ITC of those 100 rupees in GSTR 3B of 1819. Now in GSTR 9 of 1718, we must have shown that amount in table 13, that is ITC availed for the previous financial year. Right, now let's see how it will impact the GSTR 9 of 1819. Here in table 6A, GSTR 3B, table 6A will auto-populate 100 rupees through GSTR 3B. Now in table 6B, we have two options. The first option being, let's show the amount of 100 rupees in table 6B. Now what will happen? Table 8B will auto-populate this amount from table 6B. But in table 8A, which shows the amount of GSTR 2A, will not show this 100 rupees. So there will be a difference of 100 rupees in table 8A and 8B. And we have an option to show, we have an option to upload PDF for this reconciliation, why there is a difference of 100 rupees, and we can always upload a PDF reconciling this difference. And the other option being, let's not show the amount of 100 rupees in table 6B. What will happen there? 8A and 8B will match, because as there will be no amount of 100 rupees in table 6B, 8A and 8B will match. So that's another option we can anytime choose.
So in fact, we have both the options. We need to keep in mind that your 6B and 8B are interlinked. So if you show this amount, that's whatever credit which you have availed for 17, 18 and 18, 19, this 100 rupees, since it will get auto-populated in 6A. If you show it in 6B, that is, this is the credit which I have availed for this year. This 6B will get auto-populated in 8B, whereas 8A will not have this invoice, and there will be a difference for which you will have to present the PDF. You will have to upload the PDF. And the other option is what Sachin explained. So we can opt for any of the option. And other than this, in table number 8 and 8B, there are other differences also. Like this is just one of the reporting pattern. Whatever way you report, you need to simply mention your reasoning in table number, in the observations of 9C, in the remarks of 9C, you simply mention this is the way I have reported. See, there is no clear-cut understanding or circular by the government. This is the way you have to report a 17-18 transactions in 18-19. Transactions pertaining to 17-18, no clarity has been provided by the government. And for these reporting mechanism, we have multiple options. We may choose any of the option, but our recommendation is whatever option you choose, please give your remarks in GSTR 9C. That is very important. And apart from this difference, which is there in 8A and 8B, there are other differences also, because what Etam explained earlier is that my 8A is getting auto-populated. Now we have a figure in 8A, which is auto-populated. They have started providing backup of 8A also. That backup is not matching with the auto-populated figure. And now we have something called GSTR 2A figure. All these figures are not matching for various reasons. And that's why there are always a difference and difficulty in preparing table number 8A, B, C, D, the entire table. There is always a difficulty in preparation. So we can always upload the PDF of the reconciliation if we want. Some of the reasons of difference will be explained by Sachin.
Okay, now starting with the reasons of differences in table 8A and 8B, let's start with the first instance where invoices where place of supply is different than registered place of recipient. Let's understand this with an example. Let's suppose I am a registered person receiving some supplies. I'm registered in Delhi and I'm staying in Rajasthan in a hotel. So now the hotel will issue a bill charging Rajasthan GST and CGST. Now my place of my registered place is Delhi. In this case, that invoice will appear in my GSTR 2A. It will also appear in Excel of table 8A, but it will not appear in table 8A. Moving on to next second issue, the RCM invoices where registered supplier declared those invoices in GSTR 1. Let's understand this with an example. Let's suppose I am taking some legal services from a law firm, and that law firm is registered under GST. They have taken GST number. Now, while taking the services, I have to pay GST under RCM. And in this case, while filing the GSTR1, the law firm, while filing the GSTR1, will upload the details of these RCM invoices. Now, what will happen? These invoices will appear in GSTR2A. This will also appear in Excel of table 8A, but it will not, the figure of this will not appear in table 8A. Now, third category being the credit received from IST. Now, this credit will appear, this invoice will appear in GSTR 2A, but it will not appear in Excel of table 8A. Also, it will not appear in the figures of table 8A. The fourth issue being GSTR1 submitted by supplier but not filed. Let's take an example. I'm taking some services from a supplier and he has just submitted the GSTR1 but not filed. Now, what will happen? Those invoices will appear in my GSTR2A, but it will not appear in Excel of table 8A, and also it will not appear in table 8A. Moving on to next, return submitted after October 19. In this case, also, when the supplier files the return pertaining to 1819 after October 19, then what will happen? In GSTR 2A, the invoices will come, but in Excel of table 8A, the details of these invoices will not come. Also, in table 8A, the figures of these invoices will not come. Invoice relating to financial year 17-18. Now, this case is similar. This case is exactly what we have discussed in case study second. Invoice relating to financial year 17-18. Now, what will happen? It will appear in our GSTR 2A. It will also appear in the Excel of table 8A, but it will not appear in form 9 of table 8A of form 9. Now, the last thing being the credit note related to invoice of 1819 issued in 1920. It will also appear in GSTR 2A, but it will not appear in Excel of table 8A. It will also not appear in the figures coming in table 8A.
These are only the illustrative differences. Like you have something called GSTR 2A, then you have an 8A auto-populated figure, then you have a backup of 8A. So the difference is on account of various reasons. These are some of the illustrative reasons. So in case I am not in a position to reconcile and make table number 8A and prepare 8A with 8B, C, D, E, F, you can in PDF format make your own reconciliation between the credit which I have claimed and between the credit which is auto-populated in 2A, make your own reconciliation and upload in PDF format as a part of 9C. That's an option provided by the government, and this is the reasons of difference wherein we always face difficulty in preparing table number 8. Practically speaking, for some clients, we are able to identify and match everything. Hence, we don't upload PDF. We prepare table number 8. But for certain clients, we are not even in a position to identify and drill down the differences between 2A and 8A. Apart from these differences, there are other reasons also. So there is always a difficulty. So an option has been provided. With this, let's move to the next case study.
So coming to the next case study, in this, I take a example. Suppose being a chartered accountant, I have provided a professional services to one of my clients, and I have raised an invoice of suppose 1 lakh rupees plus GST to that particular client. Later on, while making the payment, my client asked that 1 lakh was never the fees agreed. Please reduce your amount to rupees 80,000 plus GST. So what I do is that I issue a credit note in respect of 20,000. So there are two things. I have issued an invoice of rupees 1 lakh and I have issued a credit note of rupees 20,000 subsequently. So 1 lakh was the amount which I reported in my GSTR 3B in earlier months. Now I have to make an adjustment in relation to 20,000 rupees of credit note. In case I have adjusted my credit note of rupees 20,000 with respect to my outward tax liability in that particular month, then I have done the correct treatment, and while filing form 9 and 9C of that client or registered person, there would have been no impact. So total turnover, what will be showing in 3B is 100 minus 20, which has been made subsequently. So 80 rupees would have been the actual turnover, which is being reported in table number 4 of 9 vis-a-vis my financials. This is actually the correct treatment. But what we have seen in many of the other cases is that while filing my GSTR 3B in the month in which I have issued a credit note of rupees 20,000, what I have done is that I have taken rupee tax on that 20,000 as an ITC. So instead of reducing or deducting that from my outward tax liability, what I have done is that I have taken the equivalent amount of ITC and my GSTR 3B. So while filing GSTR 9 in such a case, what will be a scenario that I have paid tax on rupees 100, whereas my actual turnover was rupees 80. First case is this. Second subset to this is I have claimed excess ITC in respect of 20,000 rupees for the credit note. So legally speaking, this 20,000 is the amount which I cannot avail as ITC. So while preparing 9 for such a transactions, I should, in table number 6A, it will be showing as 100 rupees, but under bifurcation in 6B, I should show 80 rupees only, and 20 rupees difference is something which I need to pay through DRC 03. In addition to paying this, because what I have done, I was tax neutral. So now as one set, I have paid rupees 20. The second subset to this is while filing GSTR 9 outward supply, we should show the actual figures of rupees 80 only, and table number 9 of GSTR 9, it tax payable would be rupees 80 and tax paid rupees would be 100. So 20 rupees is the amount on which I should be eligible for the refund, which we have discussed earlier. So 20 rupees ITC reverse to be paid through DRC 03, and 20 rupees is the amount which I need to pay, which I need to get refund through my excess tax payments, credit tax payment. Coming to the last reconciliation case studies in relation to ITC. Suppose I have missed to pay an RCM for a transaction recorded in financial year 18-19, but somehow I paid that transaction in financial year 19-20. So fact is, I have an advocate bill of rupees 1 lakh rupees, but I missed to pay 18,000 under RCM during financial year 18-19. In financial year 19-20, I have paid 18,000 rupees of tax under RCM, and I have taken the ITC of also 18,000 rupees. So while framing 9 for the financial year 18 and 19, we should not take this transaction into consideration, as we have already paid the tax on this transaction in financial year 19-20. But being the auditor, it is advisable to map out these transactions and to put a note in our remarks or observation in our audit form depicting that the transaction on which the RCM has not been paid in financial year 18-19 has been paid in 19-20 and has been claimed as ITC. So now coming to another important part, if we go one step behind, that is financial year 17-18. Exactly, this is the transaction which has happened in 17-18 and I have paid in 18-19. So what we should do in 9 for 18-19? So while framing 9 for the financial year 18-19, this is the amount which should be shown in table number 4 and 5, 4 of 9, and tax payable should match. So we should ideally report these transactions for financial year 17-18, which has been paid in 18-19 in table in GSTR form 9. But to keep it simple, this will not have any impact in GSTR 9C, because RCM turnover is the turnover which does not have any impact in relation to turnover reconciliation for the purpose of 9C. So ideally, we should show this transaction for 17-18, which have been paid in 18-19 in GSTR 9 for 18 and 19. So the last part, that is the legal audit. Let us, Tushar.
So having discussed the issues related to the reconciliation, it is also important to note that the role of GST auditor is not should be limited merely to reconciliation. We are aware that government has issued a press release stating that the role of auditor is limited to reconciliation and he is not required to do detailed legal analysis, etc. But the practical experience which we have faced whenever we do GST audit of any client and departmental audit comes, generally clients comes to you and say, you have only done the GST audit, please handle the departmental audit. You are aware about all the transactions, etc. This is what we are really facing. And when we face departmental audit, when we actually face the departmental audit, we have to answer the legal questions also. So it is important as an auditor, as a professional, we do some basic legal review of the clients also. We are not saying that we have to review each and every transaction. For example, a client may have 40 products. We cannot check the classification of each and every product, that is the 40 products which they are manufacturing, but at least we need to check some important and regular transaction. Example can be supplies which are not without consideration. This cross-charge concept and supplies between related party like corporate guarantee or issuance of infrastructure, giving of infrastructure without cost. These are some of the examples which department is focusing on. Further, there are certain peculiar transactions like liquidated damages, etc., wherein department is focusing more. Also, transaction with employees. Say if you are recovering any amount from your employees, say canteen charges, etc., all these results into GST implications. And similarly, when we talk about the ITC part is important. Like the credit which you have availed, is it an eligible credit? Whether the invoice issued by the vendor, is it an eligible invoice? Whether you have made the payment within 180 days. If not, then there is a reversal requirement. At least something, a transaction and implications which flow from the face of the balance sheet and profit and loss account and the data which I received, it is imperative for us to analyze and provide for the exposure or opportunity any. With this, we end our session, and over to you, Shubhamji. Should we take the question and answer sessions now?
Sir, I think let us demonstrate the Webtel's utility first, and then let us compile all the question answers and we'll take it after.
Right.
Thank you so much, Tusharji, Pitamji, and Sachin for the deliberation. It was a very nice presentation indeed. So now we have. We have CCS Nikita Singhal with us, who will present the Webtel's utility for GSTR 9 and 9C, which is going to make your task easier. Over to you, Nikita. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Shubham. Now we'll be moving to web GST software. Let us move to the software now. So this is the main screen of the software. Now we'll be seeing how we can fill and file GSTR 9 and 9C from the software itself. So it's a very easy process to file the return from the software. Here you can see the main screen of the software, and in the top you can see GSTR 9 and 9C icons are coming. So you have to select the business vertical for which you are filing the GSTR 9 return, and then you just have to go to the icon GSTR 9 and 9C and click on GSTR 9. So first and foremost thing I want to tell you that whether you are using Webtel software from the beginning or not, in filing GSTR 9, there is no need for you to have software from the starting, because here we are downloading the software, the data from the portal itself. So as we have clicked on GSTR 9 button, you can see here a form is displayed to you. In the starting months is coming like 2018. We are working for 2018 and 19 here. So for the whole year 18, 19 and for 19 and 20 till September. So for all these months we are downloading the data. Next we have GSTR 3B, GSTR 1, GSTR 2A. So for filing GSTR 9, we are downloading the data of 3B, 1 and 2A. For 3B, we are downloading the data for the whole year 2018 and 19, and we are not downloading for 1920 because there is no date column in GSTR 3B. So for that, we are downloading for the whole year only. And for GSTR 1, we are downloading for the data for 2018 and 19 whole year, and then from 1920, the invoices or the data pertaining to 18 and 19 will be downloaded. Next is GSTR 2A. That is also we are downloading for the whole year, that is 18 and 19. And for 1920, the data which pertains to 18 and 19 is downloaded. Now you can see in the screen here that the green color is appearing here, and it's showing that last downloaded date and time is appearing here. So as we click on GSTR 9, the data gets automatically downloaded, and there's no need for you to manually download the data for each month. So once you have on a single click, all the data of 3B, 1 and 2A will be downloaded, and all this will be shown to you in the green color. That means the data is downloaded. Otherwise, if it's appearing in orange color, here you can see in the screen below also, that means the data is pending. So our data is downloaded here. Now let's move to the form. Now this form is same as is given on the portal. All the things are same. In the starting, its financial year is coming, GST and legal name, trade name, all these things are coming. Then after that, we'll move to table number 4. Table number 4 contains details of advances, inward and outward supplies made during the financial year on which tax is payable. So our first 4A heading is supplies made to unregistered person. Here, as already been discussed by the sir also, that B2C supplies will be coming here, and each and every head is already discussed. So I want to basically tell you the problems which you will be facing while filing your return, and with the help of the software, all these problems can be solved. So like in 4A, B2C data is coming here and it is being auto-populated. So there is no need for you to fill the data manually. And here also you can see while filing 17-18 return, all the data for 17-18 was coming. And you also must be knowing that 17-18 data has been uploaded in 18 and 19 also. So now when we are filing 18-19 return, in every column, like in B2B, B2C, the data for 17-18 must be coming. So what we have to segregate the data for 17-18 because it has already been reported in 2017 and 18, and now we have to take only the data for 18 and 19. So here in 4A, supplies made to unregistered person, B2C, your B2C supplies which are related to 18-19 will be auto-populated. Now you can see here we have given a button, so you can click on this particular button, and now you can see the bifurcation also. Earlier on the portal, this particular B2C data is auto-populated, but there you cannot see the bifurcation of these things. Here it is very easy to see the bifurcation for each and every month. You can double click on any month for which you want to see the data, and you can see the data from there and match the data also. So here for the whole year 18-19, your B2C data is coming, and you can double click on any particular month to see the bifurcation POS wise, or if it is if it is B2CS sale, then POS wise, and if it is B2CL sales, that is large invoices are there, then you can see it invoice wise also. Here export to Excel facility is also given for your convenience. Now let's move to supplies made to registered person, that is 4B, B2B. Here also the data is being auto-populated, and only the data relating to 2018 and 19 are coming. But when we are working it like manually, if we are working on these figures, the invoices pertaining to 17 and 18 uploaded in 18 and 19 GSTR1 will also be shown there. So here we have bifurcated those invoices, and only 18 and 19 figures are coming. Similar to B2C data, you can click on B2B also and click on here. 3 options are given to you: month-wise, invoice-wise, and party-wise. So now month-wise data is appearing to you. If you want to see invoice-wise, you can click here, and all the invoices for the whole year will be shown to you here. Here you can see like the data is displaying here. So on the top, serial number, GSTN, party name, invoice number, invoice date, invoice value, taxable value, and taxes. So basically all the details of the invoices will be shown to you here, and from here only you can see, compare any invoice which you want to, or do any manual working which you want to do. Next is party wise. If you want to segregate the data party wise, you can click here, and all the data uh, segregation will be party wise. Here also export to Excel button is given. Now next is zero rated export on payment of tax. Similar to B2B data, your export invoices on which tax is being paid will be shown here. Similar to 4C, in 4D, supply to SEZ on payment of tax will be shown. Then in 4E, deemed export data will be shown. Then is 4F, advances on which tax paid but invoice has not been issued. Here your advances that's been raised but that has not been adjusted for the year 2018 and 19. That is till March 2019, the advances were raised but they were not adjusted, will be shown to you here. Next is 4G, inward supplies on which tax is to be paid on reverse charge basis. That is, your inward supplies on which you are paying the taxes on reverse charge basis will be shown to you. Next is credit notes pertaining to transactions specified in B2E above. So in 4A, one important thing is that in 4A, we have to show the credit notes relating to B2C supplies will be shown in 4A only, and from 4B to 4E, credit notes will be shown under 4I head. So you can click here, and similar to other heads, you can see the bifurcation also here. Now, one important thing here is if you want to change any figure and you want to add something manually, you can click on add manually button given here. This button is given under every head. You can double click on this particular button and you can add the taxable value and taxes, and then save from here, and your data on the main screen, that is on the main page, will be changed according to the figures changed. Similar to credit notes, debit notes for that particular year will be shown under 4J. And in 4K, supplies tax declared through amendments. So if there is any amendment, now we are working in 2018 and 19. So if there is any amendment for 2018-19 transaction, but those amendments were done in the same year only. That is, they were not done after March 2019, will be shown under 4K and 4L. That is, if the amendment, the tax is increasing, due to amendment, the tax is increasing, the amount will be shown in 4K, and if the amount is decreasing, it will be shown in 4N. So the important thing is that in 4K and L, amendments which were made in the current year, that is in the 18-19, will be shown here. And if the amendments are made after March 2019, they will be shown under 11-12 tables, the tables below given below. Next is and for the bifurcation also, you can click here on this particular button and see the invoices of which the amendments has been done. Now in M, subtotal is coming, and then the total is coming in 4N. Now one important thing again here is, if you want to change this particular data, you can right click here and you can click on view history and comment. Now suppose here you can see that 3 buttons are coming: present value, set value, auto calculated value as per return. So in auto calculated value, the value which has been calculated by the software is auto calculated value will be shown here. Set value and present value is the value which you have set, that is the set value, and present value is only the set value. Now if you want to change the data, suppose I want to change this particular transaction, so I can change the amount here and save the data. So you can now see here that it is coming in blue color. So it means that this particular entry has been manually changed. So if any transaction or any heading is coming in blue color, that means you can identify that this particular entry is entered manually. Now similar to table number 4, the table number 5 also deals with the transactions, sales transaction, but on which there was no liability to pay the taxes. So similar to 4 table, all these heads will be automatically auto-filled, and you can change them manually if you want to. And in case you want to see the bifurcation, you can click on the button given below, and you can accordingly change the things. Here on the top of the heading, where the heading is coming details of the outward supplies made during the financial year on which tax is not payable. Similarly, in table number 4 also, on the heading, that is details of advances, inward supplies and outward supplies made during the financial year on which tax is payable, you can click on this particular thing. That is on every heading, and all the details of that particular table will be shown to you. Here also, if you want to change the amount, any amount manually, you can change from here and then save the data. So there is also possibility that you are working on Excel, and if you want to copy paste the data, you can copy paste the data from your Excel on this particular form and save the data. So there is no need for you to enter any data manually. You can copy paste the data also. And in case you want to make any notes, you can click on notes and enter the comments and then save it. It is for your future thing, that in case in future you want to see any transaction and why you have changed any particular data, so you can click on comment notes button and you can see the comment which you have inserted at the time of preparation of the data. Now let's move to table number 6. In table number 6A, total amount of ITC through form 3B is coming. This amount is automatically coming from the portal. Then 6B, inward supplies other than imports and inward supplies liable to reverse charge but include services received from SEZ. So now we have inserted the whole amount of inward supplies in inputs column only, because the government has also told us that there is no need for bifurcation, and bifurcation is optional. So you can enter all the data in inputs column only. So we have shown the data in inputs only. In case you want to bifurcate the data, you can bifurcate that in on manual basis. Next is 6C, inward supplies received from unregistered person liable to reverse charge on which tax is paid and ITC claim. That data is also coming if there is any such data. Then in 6D, inward supplies received from registered person liable to reverse charge on which tax is paid and ITC availed. Similar to 6B, in 6D only, the whole of the amount is shown under inputs head. So if you want to bifurcate the data, you can do it manually. Now import of goods, in 6E, if there is any import of goods, that particular data will be shown here under inputs column. Next is import of services. Then the import of services will be shown under 6F. Input tax credit received from ISD. In case you have received any ISD credit, that will be shown under 6G. So if you want to see that which data will be auto-populated and which data is to be entered manually, you can see on this right-hand side window. And in case the amount is coming as 0, or if there is any amount, it means that the data is coming from the portal. But if that field is blank, it means you have to enter that data manually. Now, similar to these things, Tran1 credit and Tran2 credit will be downloaded from the portal. Then let's move to table number 7. In case there is a reversal of credit, then in 7A and 7B, you have to enter the data manually. But in 7C and 7D, you can see the data is auto-populated from your GSTR 3B, because this particular figure is reported in GSTR 3B. So here the data is coming. And in 7E, as per section 17.5, in case you have reported any such transaction, that will be shown here. Then we have table number 8, which is very important table, and specifically table number 8A. Here you can see that the data is downloaded from the portal. The figure is 8A is coming, and here on the click of that particular button, all the data of the 8A is bifurcated month-wise. You can see here that month is coming. Then ITC next year, that means the data of 18-19 uploaded in 19-20 is shown under ITC next year. So here in 8, all of your 8A figures will be bifurcated. If you want to see the month-wise data, you can click on any particular month. And in case you want to see invoice-wise, you can click on that particular, click on invoice-wise, and you can see the invoice-wise data. Similar to that, party-wise data can be seen here. So this is a very important thing, where you can see the bifurcation of 8A, which is practically very, working on it is practically very difficult. So this particular thing is given to you. Now 8B, ITC as per sum total of 6B and 6H above is calculated. Then 8C for financial year 18-19 ITC on inward supplies received during 18-19 but availed during April 19 to September 19. This is to be filled manually. Then we have ITC available but not availed out of B. So all these figures have to be inserted by you manually because these are not being given in the reports returns uploaded by us. So these have to be given manually. Then IGST paid on import of goods will be auto-populated here. Then ITC credit availed on import of goods will be also be auto-populated. Now we come to table number 9. In table number 9, details of tax paid as declared in returns filed during the financial year is to be shown, and this particular table will be automatically filled, so there is no need for you to manually fill this data. In this, the taxes paid and the credit availed will be taken from GSTR 3B and filled here. Now, table number 10, 11, 12, 13 deals with 18, 19 data which is being uploaded in 19 returns, that is April 19 to September 19. So, in table number 10 and 11, if there is any amendment of 18, 19 but made in 19, 20 till September will be shown to you here. So, here also you can click on this particular button and see the invoices or the notes for due to which the amendment data is coming. So this is this will be very helpful to you to identify the invoices and notes from which the amendment is being done for 18, 19 and 19, 20. Similar to that, in table number 11 also, if there is any reduction in tax, that will be shown in table number 11. Then reversal of ITC availed during financial year, previous financial year, and ITC availed for the previous financial year, it is to be entered manually. And on the basis of 10 and 11, table number 14 will be filled. And in case there is a liability for payment, then that has to be paid through DRC 03 form. Now let us move to table number 15. In table number 15, particulars of demands and refund is coming, but this table is optional. So in case you want to leave it blank, you can do the same. Next is table number 16. Supplies received from composition taxpayers will be shown in 16A. Deemed supply under section 143, it is to be reported manually and it will be shown in 16B. Then goods sent on approval basis but not returned within 180 days will be shown in 16C. Next is table number 17 and table number 18. These pertains to HSN wise summary of outward supplies and inward supplies. So these tables are also optional, but we what we do is we download the data for these particular tables from the portal itself. So in case you want to do any changes, you can right click on the data. Like there is no HSN summary for this particular company, but if there would be, you can see here that HSN summary is coming. So you can see the month-wise summary here. And in case you want to see it in Excel, you can click on HSN-wise summary. So here you can see the HSN-wise summary of that particular company. And on right click, you can delete that particular HSN and you can add comment for your future reference. So this is same for HSN summary in 17 and 18. Now this is all about GSTR 9 form. In case after doing all these things, you can save this particular form, and from here only you can save the JSON. You have to click on save JSON. Here a summary sheet of the GSTR 9 is displayed to you. From here only you can see here that it is written save GSTR 9 to GSTN portal. You can upload this particular data to the portal, and from here only you can file your GSTR 9 return. Other than that, we have given many other buttons like guidance. In case you want any guidance for filing the return, you can click on guidance buttons and you can see the some instructions and guidance are given to you. Similar to guidance, instructions are also given to file the return. Recalculate button is also given to you. This button is used in case your data is not properly downloaded in the first time. You can click on recalculate and your data will be recalculated and downloaded again. Now, if you want to export these particular in Excel or PDF, you can click on export button. Some videos are given for your help. You can click on videos to see that particular things. Tax payable is a summary sheet, again summary sheet of GSTR 9. So from here only you can identify that what taxes to be paid and whether ITC is short claimed or excess claim. Next is print. You can print this particular form also. So this is all about GSTR 9.
Okay, so thank you so much, Nikita. So this was insight about how the WebTel utility work for GSTR 9. In case you need to contact us for software related queries, you can simply scan this QR code or call us on the number displayed below. Now, I would like to request once again our eminent speakers of the day to discuss all the queries that we have compiled. Over to you, Tusharji, Pitamji.
Let us, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Completely.
Okay, the first query is example of certain interest income which are exempt. So it can be various kinds of interest income which you are earning, say a fixed deposit. In case of fixed deposit with the bank, you earn interest income. That interest income is something which you need to show in table number 5 for GSTR 9 because it's your exempt service. Whereas there is no need for reversal. So interest on security deposit, interest on FD, these can be some of the examples. Question number 2 is, some invoices have been filled in B2C column in 1819 and I have not rectified them till now. So it was a B2B invoice. However, it has been filled as B2C in your returns and now you are preparing your GSTR 9 for 1819. Can you rectify those invoices from B2C to B2B now? I'm sorry to say that there is no provision to rectify those invoices now. Since they have already been reported in B2C, you cannot change it to B2B now. Practically, what will happen? Your customer will come and say that, boss, I have received goods and services from you. You have issued an invoice to me charging GST. I am in not position to take the credit because it is not coming in my 2A. So please change from B2C to B2B. However, as of now, for 1819 transaction, you cannot change. And in this situation, the best way is to provide an undertaking to your customer stating that I have raised this invoice on you. I have reported it by mistake in B2C. However, it was B2B invoice. I have duly paid all the taxes on this transaction and provide an undertaking to him. According to me, this undertaking will be sufficient enough for him. The next question is, ITC of 1819 claimed in 3B of 1920. How to show in GSTR 9? In this case, you have to show this transaction in table number 12 and 13 of the GSTR 9. Since the transaction pertaining to 1920, that is transaction pertaining to 1819, but which are depicted and shown in 1920, my relevant table is 10 to 14. 1011 is for output, 1213 is for invert. So you have to show this transaction in that table. The next issue is, I have claimed trans 1 credit in GSTR 3B, whereas I have not filed GSTR trans 1 form. I have directly claimed the trans 1 credit in 3B in July 2017. I have directly claimed it in my 3B. I have not filed my trans 1 or trans 2 forms. In this situation, what will happen? Since you have claimed the credit in 3B, when we will come to table number 6 of GSTR 9, in 6A, this amount will come. And in 6B, if you write this amount will get auto-populated in 8B. So 8B will have this amount, whereas 8A will not have this amount because in 8A, there will be no corresponding invoices. There will be a difference. So that difference will remain. You cannot do anything in the returns. Since you have taken a commercial call of claiming trans 1 credit in 3B, if department dispute that there is a difference because you have claimed credit in 3B, whereas this amount is not coming in 8A or 2A. Accordingly, there is a difference between the invoices auto-populated in the portal and the credit which you have claimed. You have to justify that this was a trans 1 credit. Department will definitely issue a show cause notice stating you to reverse this credit because this could have been taken only from trans 1. Then you have to fight legally stating that it is my vested right to carry forward the credit. And accordingly, since portal was not working, I claimed in 3B and hence this credit should not be allowed. So it will be a legal fight. The next issue is ITC claimed in 1890, now reversed in 3B of 1920. How to show in GSTR 9? In this case, as we discussed during our presentation also, while filing and preparing table number 6 of GSTR 9, in 6A, my entire amount which I will come. My entire amount of 100 rupees which I have claimed in 3B will come. Now, out of this 100 rupees, 20 I have already reversed in 1920. So the correct way of preparing and mentioning this transaction will be in 6A, it will be 100 rupees. In 6B, write your actual credit. That is 80 rupees. That is the credit which you have actually availed. 20 will be an excess credit which is availed, and that will be shown as difference in table number 6. In table numbers 12 and 13, please write this 20 rupees amount which you have reversed in 1920 and put a remark in 9C that this is the reason of difference and this amount has been reversed. Another issue is I have claimed ITC in February 2020 and shown it as reversal in March 2020 only. That is, you have claimed as well as reversed in the same financial year. In this case, how to report this transaction? Should it be reported on gross basis? In table number 6, should I report entire 100 rupees? And table number 7, should I report 20, the reversal amount? Or should I report it 80 only, the net basis in table number 6B? According to my mind, you should report it on net basis only, because of the reason that this amount gets auto-populated in 8B, and in 8B you have to match it with 8A. So net basis will be a proper mechanism. In any case, it is always advisable to mention a remark in 9C that this is the mechanism which has been followed for reporting this transaction. Another issue which is there, that there are certain invoices which are coming in GSTR 2A, but which are not there in 8A. And one of the reason is that the party has filed the GSTR 1 in January 2020. It is coming in my 2A, but not in 8A. So as we have discussed during our presentation, that I have an option to upload a PDF file for preparation of table number 8. And for these kind of issues, I can have my own reconciliation statement. I can show that in 2A, this amount has been auto-populated, and I can show that reconciliation in PDF and upload that PDF. Another question related to this is, if I have missed credit of 1819, can I take those credit now? I'm sorry to say that if you have missed any credit of 1819, there is no possibility to take those credit now while filing and preparing your GST annual return. I think we have answered almost all the issues. Idam, can you find any other missing issue?
I don't. I think so. You have taken all the questions almost. Not an issue.
We have covered almost all the issues, sir. Over to you, Shubhji.
Right, sir. Sir, so thank you so much. Sir, I think we have taken most of the queries relevant to all of us, sir. And we have also exceeded the time, and time is always on the shorter size when it comes to 9C. So, sir, I think you have made justice to the time of all our audiences, like always. And I would like to thank you so much for coming us to our platform. Thank you, Tusharji, Pitamji, and Sachinji for such a fruitful deliberation. And with this, I want to request all the participants that we are keeping another webinar on next Wednesday, which is on issues in generation of e-way bill, which will be taken by CA Hanis S from Bangalore. And I've shared the link in the chat box. So don't forget to register yourself for that webinar. And with this, I would like to close this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.